Um, for me, um, for me, when it comes to my life, I don't really complain about the hardships I go through. A lot of things I went through, I never really talked about because I never really was able to talk about it. Because whenever I try talking about it with family, whatever, they wouldn't listen to me, or they'll downplay it, or they'll just make me feel bad about it, or they just didn't care, or they act like it never happened. So, for me, I learned that I just had to just keep going with the flow of life. And if I go through certain situations, I just go with the flow, and I know that I'll make it out of it. So that's how I'm able to handle like situations that aren't as ideal. Because that's just a concept I had to adapt when I was very young. I just had to just deal with it. It makes me very uncomfortable. It makes me sad. It makes me anxious. It makes me just very uncomfortable, or whatever, emotional or whatever. But I would just have to deal with it and just know that I will make it out eventually. I don't really have anyone to talk to with my problems and stuff like that. So I've been talking about it lately on these videos, and it's pretty bizarre. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm getting better with it. But yeah, because I know there's people out there who want to know more about me, that actually want to know my story, actually want to know things I've been through, actually want to know my perspective. Um, and it can help a lot of people kind of understand my perspective so that they can apply it to their lives or understand me a little better. But yeah, I'm the kind of person that, like, no one really cared about like my perspective. It's just, okay, that's Kamari. You know, he has shelter, he has this, he has that, he's good. He's alive, he's good. Okay, whatever. As long as he's alive. If he's alive, he's good. You know? But, it's kind of like the story is like if someone, like, I had times where, I didn't want to live anymore and I wanted to die. Um, but like if I ever like had those ideas or thoughts or whatever, people would just be like, will be shocked or just confused or whatever. But, no one really took the time to understand my perspective or the things I went through. They'll just keep piling problems up on me, and I just have to deal with those problems. Um, and, yeah, whenever I try to talk about my problems, it just would never go through. No one cared. So I always had to be stronger than I actually was. I always had to just endure everything and just mask everything and just mask my pain and learn to just deal with pain and just be able to just keep going. Um, so whenever, since, I got to the point where like I just wouldn't show my pain or be able to talk about it or whatever, people would just think of me as like a punching bag. So he can just take all these blows and everything like that, and he can just he's just fine. I can just say all these things to him and he's fine, or I can just hurt him and he's fine, or I can just treat him any kind of way and he's fine. He's not phased by it. So a lot of people took that for granted and they'll just treat me any kind of way, and just expect for me to just keep being strong. But they don't realize that I'm suffering inside, and it hurts, and it's unbearable. And then the way how I got that out was through music. Music helped me be like get all that anger out, all that frustration out, all that sorrow out. It's a lot. If you listen to the music, my music, there's a lot of dark energy in it. It's very dark. Sometimes like the production sounds very eerie. That's all the negativity that I had within me coming out. All the pain and everything, just getting that out through my music. But and it would be at times where, like, I'd sink the pain so much when I finally start, feeling like, oh, I can't take it anymore, and try to open up or try to tell my story, or I stop being strong and I start, just embracing the pain a little bit. They would wonder, why am I acting this way? Why am I changing? Why am I suddenly acting like this? Why am I suddenly acting like, like I'm in pain, or like I'm upset, or this or that, or whatever, or like something has happened to me? They'll be so confused, and then they'll start making it seem like I'm different. Or I would have, bottled up story or my emotions or my perspective so much that when I finally start talking about it, they'll be so confused, and then they'll act like it never happened, and they'll just get upset at me for expressing these things because they're so used to me not talking. So when I finally start talking, they're like, "No, what the fuck?" Because they just used to me not talking, so they get upset about that. But yeah, for me, that's how I'm able to deal with like situations that's just are not ideal. Just go with the flow with it and just you just handle it. Because what else are you gonna do? Seriously, no one cares. No one cares about what you're going through. No one cares about you. They act like they do, but they don't really care. They just want you alive so that they can have your energy. They don't really care about the things you've been through or how you feel or the pain that you embody. And every time you talk about these things, they just talk about their own pain. They don't care about what you're going through. They don't care at all. You know. So since no one truly cares, you know, all you can do is just check up on yourself and make sure you're good. And then once you're good and you get over those memories, you just discard them. That's what I do. And I just keep going. And, if I'm in a situation that's just unbearable, like the situation I'm in now, situations I've been in the past few years, I just like to look at my karma and I'm like, I have really good karma. I've been a very genuine person to people. I work hard for my goals, I work hard for my dreams. I'm a very genuine person. I do what I'm supposed to do. I'm good to people. I'll get what I deserve. I'll get I'll reap the benefits and the rewards eventually when the time's right. All I have to do is just go through the shit, and then eventually I'll get the things that I know I deserve. But yeah, that's just what I do. You know, I just go with the flow. Just so many times that I want to cry. So many times I just want to fuck people up. So many times I want to hurt people. So many times I want to hurt myself. There's so many times I just want to just run from things. So many times I just want to escape and just not want to be around anybody. So many times I just don't even want to be a part of like any of this because whenever I wonder why, like, when I'm in pain or I'm in a situation I'm uncomfortable in, or if I feel sad or whatever, or anything that's just low makes me feel low, it's never myself that puts me in these situations. It's always someone else. It's always someone else's energy because I'm always good at making myself happy and optimistic and all these different things. But it's always someone else that tries to put me down and put me in a place that I don't want to be in, and it used to hurt me so much when I'll be so good to people and they'll be so harsh to me, but they'll be nice to the people who just take everything for granted. They used to make me angry as fuck. They used to make me so angry. They used to just make me want to just be really petty and spiteful. You know, I can be a very petty and spiteful person if I allow myself to, but I don't stoop myself to those levels. You know, I want a better life. I don't want to be like everyone else who gives into negativity and stuff like that. If I have to defend myself, I will, but I'm not going to aggravate a situation because I know I can make someone's life a living hell if I want to. I know how to do it. I know how to plot really well, very well. Man, if this like, I don't believe in the heroes and villains stuff, but I'll be honest because I feel like people really need the perspective. But like, if this was like, if this was like like a hero or villain thing, I can easily be a villain. I easily have a backstory for it. I've been through a lot of things that make me spiteful, that can make me spiteful towards people. I have every reason to be a villain. But why would I want to stew myself to something like that? Why would I want to terrorize people because people terrorize me? Why not make the world better? Why not be a better person? Why not see the other side and get to the other side and be a better person rather than just being like the other people? I wasn't like this when I was a child. When I was a child, I was a very genuine person and I just like being around people and just learning and loving. But since people around me had such negativity around them, and I had a light, they wanted to stop me and and put all this negativity in me. I don't want to be like that, you know? I wasn't put on this planet to be succumbed by corruption or negativity. I was put on this planet to overcome it, you know? If I succumb to negativity, then all that would do is just it'll ruin my life, and the people who will look up to me would try to do the same stuff and go to negativity. Negativity is the easy way out, and it's not worth it. I'd rather be positive and be the best person I could possibly be, rather than just, okay, these people are messing with me, so I'm just going to go with it. And I'm just going to give in to that because they're doing it. No, don't do that. Be the better person, be the bigger person, and know that there's a better life for you. You just have to, persevere through the discomfort and know that, things will be made up to you and you'll be able to live a better life in the future. I promise you. You just have to go through the shit. And once you go through the shit, you'll be able to live a better life for yourself. A lot of us have go through these things where we're put into families and environments that just aren't good for us. We're not in this alone. A lot of us have these same problems. And you know what? I had another topic I was gonna talk about, but I'll talk about it in this video, and it's bullying. I want to talk about bullying. Um, Believe it or not, but I was a bully at one point in my life. In middle school, I was a bully. That's why, like, when it came to high school, when I was being bullied, I wasn't too upset about it because I'm like, you know what? I used to bully people, and the reason why I bullied people isn't was I was just taking my frustration on people because I was so young and I didn't have guidance and I was around so much destruction. People kept taking their issues out on me and fucking with me and fucking me up for no reason, punching me, hitting me, kicking me, yelling at me, all these different things, abusing me, So I was getting abused a lot. So and I couldn't talk to anything, talk about it with anybody, if I talk to it with, the school or whatever, thinking it's safe, they'll just try to take me from my family and make it worse. If I talk to a family, they're just gonna not appreciate it. If I talk to a friends, I was too embarrassed to talk about these stuff with friends at that time. And I didn't have anyone to talk to about these things. So I had all this negativity within me and I don't know how to express it. So I just started taking it out on other people. Um, it was a short-lived thing, but yes, I used to do some really stupid things because I just didn't know. I didn't have guidance. I didn't know what to do, and I had all this energy in me, and I just kept getting fucked up at home. Um, but I stopped doing that, and I do want to talk about like bullying as a whole. Some bullying comes from what I said. It comes from someone just having not even trying to bully anyone or be mean to anyone. It's just someone who's just been abused so much that they're just so frustrated that they're just starting to take their issues on others and they're not really trying to do it. They're just so overwhelmed with all this agony that they just take it out on other people and they don't really mean to do that. They're just not realizing. And usually when people like that they start hurting people, they're empaths. So when they realize that they're hurting someone, they stop. Or if they realize it's the wrong thing, they stop. Like when my mom started talking to me and telling me, like getting on me for it, that's when I stopped. Like I stopped because I I realized it just wasn't a good thing to do. But when you're always getting fucked up at home, you don't realize these things. I don't really ever talk about that, but I think it's important for me to talk about this stuff. But yes, I have been abused at home. Do I want anything to happen to my family? No, because it made me stronger. But yes, I used to be abused at home all the time when I was a child. A lot of us were. They were too. My family were as well. They were abused by their families. It's a fucking ancestry thing because, when you come from a home where they're not as wise as they think they are, so they're not good with their words. So what they do is they just fuck you up. They use their actions. They just hit you and shit like that. I used to get fucked up all the time, man. all the fucking time. That's why I'm just like so immune to like all this kind of stuff. But yeah, some people, some bullies, they take their issues out on you, not because they hate you or anything like that, but it's because they're just going through so much that they're just trying to get that energy out. And unfortunately, they take it on some other people. But usually, like people like that who do that, once they realize it, depending on the person they are, they may apologize to you and try to make it up to you. Um, I wish I could make it up. I want to make it up to a lot of the people who I took my issues out on. I used to get in trouble at schools and do a lot of stupid ass shit. I was a class clown. I used to do a lot of stupid shit. And there's a lot of scheming stuff as well, you know. And, I'm not proud of any of that stuff I used to do, but, I wasn't doing it because I wanted to. It was just what the fuck was going on at home, man. There was just a lot of shit going on at home. So it was hard to focus on things. It was hard to focus on school when I'm at a home that just treats me like garbage. I have all this negative energy in me, and yeah. But I want to also talk about other kinds of bullies, and these are kind of like, I say these are like character development bullies. The reason why I call them character development bullies is because they kind of pose. I notice they kind of come at people who are more timid or or they don't want to stand up for themselves, or they're hesitant to stand up for themselves. So that's why I call them like character development bullies. A bully is a bully, but a character development bully is someone who messes with someone that they see as weaker than them. Like for me, I wasn't messing with people because they're weak. I was just trying to just get that energy out. That's why I was doing that. I just didn't care who the fuck you were. You know, I was just trying to get that energy out. Um, but character development bullies will pick on someone that they care about and that is weak because they feel like it'll make them stronger. They want them to become stronger. They either want them to become stronger or they feel intimidated by them. It's usually because they feel intimidated by them or because they want to be, or they want them to be stronger or whatever. So they pick on them and they mess with them and all these different things. And it's usually very petty. Um, yeah, but it's really not good to do these things. Instead, it's better to communicate, you know. If someone were to communicate to me about my problems instead of bullying, because I was also bullied as well, picked on as well when I was bullying, doing this stupid shit. I was picked on as well. But if someone were to just like talk to me, that would just make me stop. A lot of people, if you just talk to some of these kids or whatever, they will just listen to you. They just, because no one talks to them, no one cares. They just throw all their shit on them. So they just that's just they just picked up on their environment. So to me, I don't really blame them. I don't think it's a good thing to do, but they don't really understand. But back to like other bullies, like character development bullies, they often know that what they're doing is wrong, but they do it because they don't know how to communicate, and they're trying to either make the person stronger or they're just very intimidated by them. But you have to understand how this messes with someone's psychological state, because you're fucking with them and you keep fucking on them and you keep picking on that specific person. So it's not even like you just did some dumb shit like one time to them. Like, no, you keep picking on that specific person. You keep being an obstacle to that person because you're trying to like strengthen them up or whatever. And then you try to embarrass them, or you try to like humiliate them, or hurt them or whatever, or break their spirit because you're trying to make them stronger. And there's people who are like that. But do understand that it's better to use your words and just be in their life and just toughen them up. You can just toughen your friends up. But doing that can make them think that like you're like some kind of enemy, and eventually they can snap. And it's just not good to do that. It's better to communicate and find ways to, if you care about someone, you want them to be stronger, then communicate with them and find and talk to them and find ways to help them become a better person or a stronger person. A lot of bullying come from that because they see potential in them, but they see that they're wasting their potential, so they bully them or they're either intimidated. Because a lot of us, we can see potential in people, but a lot of us, we can't see potential in our own selves. So sometimes it's good to just be with them, be a friend to them instead of trying to be their enemy. Be their friend and try to help them, and you guys could develop your skills together instead of trying to bully them. It's not worth bullying them. Just be a friend to them. Don't be intimidated by them. Instead, try to be better. And I know that probably stems from the home as well. It definitely does, you know? That's probably how your family was to you. But it's time for us to break these patterns and be better to each other, because we deserve it. We all deserve to be better to each other and kinder to each other, instead of just constantly putting each other down and hurting each other. We should be good to each other and love another and embrace another and find ways to help each other in a positive way, instead of, you know, putting all our problems on each other, you know? That's why, like I said, that's why I try to make these videos to help guide people and give them the guidance that they need, because I know a lot of us don't have it. But yeah, this is what I want to say for that.